Hello everyone, it's Joe here from Draft FPL and welcome back to a weekly series helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. Don't fear, I'm here, game week 9 waivers just in time. Got about 15 hours to go until the deadline. I wanted to wait as long as possible to see if we get any international break injuries that crop up, just in case there are those gold mine picks that become available. I've definitely got one of them, and we'll see how the others fall. So let's get stuck straight into the picks. If you enjoy the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Okay then, first pick, Mcin of Liverpool, available in 99% of leagues, and that data is powered by Draft FC, as always, where I get my information on league availability, and they've got plenty more to offer than just that. Link down in the description if you're interested. But Andy Robertson has, we think, dislocated his shoulder. The reports are a couple of months on the sidelines. I'd suggest it could be a little bit less than that, but I'd say minimum 6 weeks. And the next 4 game weeks for Liverpool are fantastic. Everton at home, Forest at home, Luton away, Brentford at home. Doesn't get any better than that. It is an international break after game week 12, I believe. So we could maybe see Robertson come back in game week 13. But for this block of 4, I'd say Mcin is about as nailed as it gets. And that is absolutely ideal. 4 fantastic fixtures. Definite easy pickup. We know how good he can be when he gets the minutes. And Liverpool defence has been not amazing so far, but with these fixtures, you'd expect minimum 2 clean sheets, maybe 3, and you don't get value like that very often, so I think he's a very good pickup. Next up, in the 1 week punt territory, we've got Murillo of Forest. As you've noticed, I'm going for all red kits this week. I've got, I think, 10 picks, all of them in red kits, so I just wanted to make it a little bit harder for myself. Available in 99% of leagues. Luton at home, game week 9 for Forest. It's a fantastic clean sheet opportunity. I suspect it'll be Murillo and Willy Bolly at centre back, so if either of those are free, then feel free to go for either one. Murillo didn't go on international duty, so I think he's a little bit safer than the likes of Aurea, who did travel. He looks like a real player. I mean, I'm sure many of you have seen that highlight against Palace where he dribbled halfway up the pitch and then took a decent shot on goal. Well, hopefully we see more of that, when we pick him up in our teams. He looks like an absolute talent. After game week 9, you probably don't want him for much longer because the fixtures are pretty rough. I mean, Liverpool away is obviously very bad. Villa at home in 11 isn't that bad. You could potentially keep hold of him and play him in that one. West Ham away, I don't love. There's probably just better picks out there after game week 9. But for this week alone, if you want to target this Luton at home fixture, I think a defender is a very good bet. Next up, we have Victor Lindelof. I picked him a few weeks ago, and I think I said, you probably don't want a United defender. Well, they've got even worse since then, but he is still available in 83% of leagues. He's almost guaranteed to start, and it is Sheffield United this week. By far the worst attack in the league. It is away, but United have probably got the best chance at a clean sheet of any team this week. So I don't think it's a silly move by any means to pick up Lindelof. Game week 10 is City at home, which obviously you're going to bench or drop. But then game week 11 and 12 both look pretty good as well. Fulham away, Luton at home. You could see a clean sheet in either of those games, to be honest. And United's defence actually hasn't been that bad. The attack has been more of a problem than the defence, I would say. But yeah, this fixture is one to target. Luton and Sheffield United, I'm looking at every week who's playing them, and I'm making pickups based on that because it seems a bit simplistic, but I'm pretty sure that will, over the season, yield you pretty good results. Next up is Collins of Brentford, available in 70% of leagues. Brentford are going through a bit of a wobble at the moment, and they do have a bit of an injury pile-up. Obviously, Rico Henry's out. Hickey could potentially be out as well because he picked up a knock on international duty. So it's going to be Mee's out as well. So it looks like it's probably going to be Pinnock and Collins. and I'm not really sure who's going to be playing at fullback. So it's not an ideal scenario to be picking up a player with a team in the middle of an injury crisis, but Burnley at home is a good fixture. The bookies still like Brentford for a clean sheet above a lot of the other teams, so sometimes you just got to kind of overlook that and think that the golfing quality will just show anyway. The fixtures are pretty rank after this. Chelsea away I don't like, West Ham at home is okay, Liverpool away is not good either, so it's a bit hit and miss for Brentford, but I do think if you're desperate for a defender this week and you've either already got a Forest defender or you can't get one, Lindelof and Tsimikas, you both miss both on waivers, then I think a Brentford defender in the back of the queue is probably better than the rest. On to midfielders. First up, we have John McGinn, available in 45% of leagues. And to be honest, this season, I'll be honest with you, I've kind of just been waiting for McGinn to lose his spot in the team. I know he is club captain, which does make a big difference, but there's just something that makes me think he's not quite at the level of a lot of Villa's first 11. But I think I might just be wrong, to be honest. He plays this kind of hybrid centre mid winger role, and he does it very well. And when you look at the options of who could replace him, Jacob Ramsey is the obvious one. Well, he's had a setback, so he's not in the picture at the moment because he is injured. Then you've got Zaniolo as well, but he is embroiled in some kind of betting scandal, could potentially be facing a ban. I think McGinn is in the team for the long haul, and the fixtures are really good, especially next week from game week 10 onwards. But I quite like game week 9. West Ham at home I think is a good fixture anyway. Then it's Luton at home, Forest away, Fulham at home. The 3 after that, which is just an unbelievable run. I think if you can get John McGinn for this set of 4 fixtures, even though he's not the most attacking player in that side, the team is so attacking and the fixtures are so good that I think he's definitely well worth a look for this run. Next up, targeting that Luton fixture again, is Callum Hudson-Odoi. Luton at home, available in 86% of leagues. I don't think I really need to explain this one too much. Bad defence, decent attack, pick up one of the most advanced players and hopefully profit. So there is another option you could look at if Callum Hudson-Odoi is not available. Obviously Morgan Gibbs-White would be my preferred pick, even over Callum, but he is very highly owned. If not Hudson-Odoi, I think Dominguez looks like a decent pick as well. You could also look at Elanga, but I'm not convinced if he's going to start or not. So I think from the midfielders, Morgan Gibbs-White would be my top priority, then Hudson-Odoi, and then probably Dominguez. But I think all 3 of those could do quite well in this fixture. Next up, Anthony, available in 60% of leagues. I'm not going to spend too long on him. Sheffield United away, it's a fixture to target. I think he'll probably come back into the 11 this week. They've been really poor since he's been out the side. I don't think he specifically makes that much difference, to be honest, but when a team's playing well, you know, they're less likely to make changes, and then they've not been playing well, so I think they probably will bring him back in. And it is Sheffield United away. He may have a point to prove, you know, specifically, so it's not the worst pickup for this week. After that, you might want to look at how you're going to play it with the City fixture, but then again, if he does do well, they do have a good run after that, so it's definitely one to keep an eye on. And finally for midfielders, we have Souček, available in 84% of Draft FPL leagues. West Ham also have a fantastic run of fixtures starting game week 10. It's Villa away this week, which I actually don't think is that bad. From set pieces, Villa defensively are a little bit weak, and Souček is exactly the kind of player that will punish them. He's also actually been doing quite well in open play as well. It's not like he's only there for the set pieces, although they do have a fantastic set piece taker in Ward-Prowse, which does help. You know, Bowen and Ward-Prowse are certainly better options than Souček. Both of those are not going to be free in many leagues. Kudus is also, you know, one to consider. I personally think, you know, the more I've thought about it over the international break, I think this is the week that Kudus may well get the start, and Mikel Antonio will, I think, drop out the 11. We'll see Bowen probably go through the middle, Kudus on the right. Paqueta on the left, and then Ward-Prowse and Souček ahead of Alvarez in the midfield, which is great for Souček because it means he can get forward a little bit. Ward-Prowse the same. Bowen's playing through the middle. Kudus will be starting. It's like a win-win for everyone. Apart from Mikel Antonio, of course, who will be outside. But I think this is the week that the change probably happens. It makes a lot of sense after the international break. So we'll see how that plays out. But if Kudus doesn't start, it's a shame. But I'm sure it's coming. Final pick then, and it's Deok Origi. Forest Luton at home. Fantastic fixture, as I've said already. Available in 93% of leagues. Awoniyi is ruled out. So it's kind of a toss-up between Chris Wood, Deok Origi. Chris Wood got the start against Palace. Did okay, but, wasn't really up to the level that they wanted. Origi came on for him after about 65 minutes and looked pretty good, I thought. So I personally think Origi is going to get the start. I was surprised he didn't start last week, but I think he will now. Chris Wood has been away over the international break with New Zealand, although they did play their matches in Europe, so it wasn't like he had loads of travelling to do, but he's not been around the squad, whereas Origi has. I think that'll probably be just enough time for Steve Cooper to get him settled into the way of playing, and I think he'll get the start this week. So there is a bit of risk there. He may not start. I'd probably lean 65-35 towards Origi, but that, if that's too much risk for you, then maybe just avoid it. That's personally, what I think is going to happen, but again, I may be wrong. If he does start, it's a fantastic fixture to play someone in, and if he doesn't, he's probably going to get half an hour in the best fixture of the game anyway. So even if he doesn't get the start, it's probably not the end of the world, unless Chris Wood absolutely sets the world alight, which I don't see happening. He's definitely going to get on the pitch. The fixtures after that are rubbish, and Awoniyi will be back soon, so it's certainly a 1 week punt, but I actually think it's a pretty good 1 week punt. Okay, that wraps up my picks for Game Week 9. Thank you all for watching. I know it's come very late in the day, but, international breaks, I've had a lot going on. I'll try and get it out a little bit earlier next week, although next week's a Monday night football and a Friday night deadline, which is like the worst case scenario for someone who wants to spend the middle of the week making content. But there we go, that's the cards we have been dealt. Thank you all for watching. Like the video, check out the Patreon, subscribe to the channel. See you next time.